Hey, Matt 2 crew, this is Mr. Pratt here with your week 4, May 11th to the 17th weekly agenda intro video. Just a recap from last week. You guys did an awesome job at responding to the discussion boards I had out there and just providing your insight on the different activities that I've asked of you. So, just as a reminder to you, those activities are due on May 11th, which would be Monday at 7:59 a.m. However, if you are not able to complete them by that time, please make sure you get those to me or submit those activities no later than Monday, May 18th, in order to receive credit. Obviously, you're going to have new activities for this week, but if you weren't able to, you still have a little bit of time. Anything that was not submitted from the prior week would also need to be submitted by Monday in order to receive credit for those as well. So just want to make sure you guys are keeping on task and working through each of the weeks as I have scheduled them. So much like last week, we have a ed puzzle for you to complete. This is about how to use the ShopBot. So I know you all have had experience using the CNC machines, and so there's a quick video for you to watch, answer some questions, and then move into really the meat and potatoes of this week's activities. And so to kind of give you a little bit of mindset of where we're headed in the following weeks here, you had the opportunity to critique a set of project plans. I believe it was a TV console. And so I have had the opportunity to use those plans, and I've seen where they have been useful and also had some drawbacks. So it was interesting to see some of your thoughts in the pros and cons of that. And so now we're going to kind of utilize that as our primary example for what you guys are going to be creating, which is your own project plans. That can be used in independently outside of school, or if you have the opportunity to take Mat 2 or the CNC class in the future, you would have the opportunity then to possibly utilize those project plans for those classes as well. So this week what we're going to do is we're going to take the idea that you submitted last week and create a rough draft for your parts list. This is something that you're going to submit individually to me, and then I'm going to review those and kind of give you a little insight of where maybe you should take a little bit closer look at. Think about how these projects are going to be assembled, what part's going to be used or cut out on the CNC, what kind of joinery would you use. So think back to the ed puzzle that you had to watch last week, some of the joinery that unfortunately we don't get to talk about in class or get to show you, but you at least got to see a video of how maybe they could be utilized. Think about that and where those might be utilized, and obviously if you're having questions about it, I can sit down face to face through Zoom and talk about that, or I can answer those questions through Schoology messages. So that'll be the first written or typed up activity that you're going to complete for the week. Next thing is going to utilize AutoCAD. So at least one of your parts from your project needs to be cut out using the CNC. And so before we get to PartWorks and utilizing the CNC machines, we first have to draw it up in AutoCAD. I'm not asking for anything in 3D. I'm just asking for a face view of what that part would look like in its final product or final way. So once it's cut out, what would that look like? You don't need to show me any dimensions in the drawing, but you do need to make sure you follow your parts list and how that would be implemented. You're going to save that as a 2007 DXF file, and that'll be submitted then for me to review. And then from there, this is when you're going to utilize PartWorks. And so just like the videos that I create each week, which is done through Screencast-O-Matic, I don't know how many of you have ever used that, you're also going to create a video to show me how to set up your PartWorks file and actually create that file to then be run on the CNC machines. So I provided a link to Screencast. It's very simple. All you need to do is click on Launch Free Recorder, and it'll open up, and you don't have to show your face, but you would show your screen and then talk just like you would if I were sitting next to you in class, and tell us about your PartWorks video or PartWorks file. So this will be a discussion post, so that way maybe someone else in the class has an idea how they could help you, or just to give each other ideas on how you could implement PartWorks and CNC in your projects. And so this will kind of give us a basic of where we're headed. So we're going to get the rough draft of our parts list done. We're going to begin looking at some of the steps needed for the CNC. We're going to look at what steps are needed to create the rest of your project. And then we'll look at next week a little bit of the 3D modeling, and then kind of pulling all this together towards the end of the marking period. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with as far as your parts list and your AutoCAD file, and then obviously the screencast videos on PartWorks. If you have any questions, I have Zoom office hours on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. You're welcome to join. That link is also always available on our Schoology calendar, as well as, like I said, Schoology messages is definitely a possibility. Or if you need to have a face-to-face to work through some other issues later in the week, we can definitely set aside a time that works best for both of us. So, like I said, let me know if you have any questions, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with and provide on Schoology this week. All right, see you all.